Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. Welcome back to Real Women's Stories with me, Lisa Quait. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm 50 years old, I'm a mum, I work full time, and I'm a life coach. That's quite a lot to take in, right? But I manage it and I enjoy it. And it's my choice, it's something that I choose to do. So, in my previous episode, I spoke to my very own life coach, who is absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be doing this podcast without her. So, Rebecca Shannon was my guest on my previous episode, and we really delved into the topic and the debate of family and career. Can women have it all? But I had a few take homes which I really feel could help you if you are thinking about having a family and you want to have a career, or indeed, like myself, at times I had to have a career. I had to earn money. It wasn't a case of a choice, but I needed to do it to support myself as a single parent. So during my own journey, I've had the choice to work and obviously the pressures of finances that kind of put me on that path of having to have a career. So I've got a couple of take homes for you. First of all, what do you want? What is it that you want as a woman? Do you want to, well, first of all, think about if you're with a partner. So if you're with your partner now, and you could even be in your 20s or 30s. So you're in a relationship, you have a partner, and you're thinking about having a family, but you either need to work or you want to have the choice of working, because after all, being a full-time mother isn't for everybody. It wasn't for me when I first started out, and I wanted to have a career. So think about what it is you want in your life and how you want that to be. The job that you're currently in, is that the job that you're going to want to be in when you have a child and when you have a family? And when you have a family and when you work, what does that look like for you? And how do you want to bring up your children or child, depending on whether you want to have more than one? Start talking early. I think that's one of the things that we forget to do. We get caught up in the romance of getting married, and then we're going to have children and we're going to have this amazing family. But life isn't really like that, because the pressures of having children and having to work are pretty intense. So sit down with your partner and start to write things down, start to work out what your relationship is going to look like once your child comes along. Every child is different. Every relationship is different. We are, as human beings, different. But as long as you have some kind of agreement in place and have the same morals and values about how you're going to split both your times between your family, and if you do have to go back to work and if you do want to have a career, then you've had those difficult discussions before the events start happening. Because when you're in things and when you're stressed out, if you haven't delved into that conversation beforehand, it's going to be a lot harder to kind of come out the other end and work those things out if you're not in alignment with each other. So I think it was really good Rebecca brought that up. That was a massive take home for me. Preparation and research. I mean, we kind of think about having the baby and the nursery and what we need is, when they're just come out of our tummies, right? So we talk about those routines, but also what help is there around us? What's our work going to say? What are the policies are in place with our HR department? Have discussions and think about how you're going to feel in the job that you're currently in. If you're going to have a child and going to have a family, is that job right for you? Is this career right for you? And if it is, just do a bit of research and have those communications, because the anxiety that you could suddenly get that once you've had your baby and it's time to go back to work, you're not sure about how you're going to be feeling and how other people are going to react towards you. So try and take some of that anxiousness away and have those discussions pre kind of throwing yourself in the thick of it and having a child and then having to run back to work. So start to do the preparation beforehand. Equally, look at nurseries. What nurseries do you have in your area? How much are they going to cost? When can my child start going to school? And then you can start working backwards in terms of the finances that you've got and how you're going to split those finances between the two of you. Because obviously having a family is very expensive. And those that are going to struggle and those that do want to have a family but they need to work, you need to have all those financial discussions beforehand. It's a lot easier to fact find and have those tense conversations, which sometimes they can be, but if you don't have them, then when they do happen, they can explode and be even worse. So just do a bit of preparation and research around it. And also think about the community that you have around you. Do you have parents that are near you that can help you? Do you have a close circle of friends that are potentially having babies at the same time as you? Are there any friends that you've got with, I guess, in their teens that could potentially do some babysitting for you if you needed it? Is there anyone that could help you with the nursery pickups or the school pickups? Try and picture in your head what that's going to look like. And listen, it's not to scare you off at all, because what it will do is it will give you some kind of support foundation mentally that you've investigated all this stuff. You've kind of looked through the narrative of having a baby and the romance of having a baby and actually looking at the facts of what your life is going to look like once that happens. One other thing I'd probably like to pick up on is time management. But time management's really important. Think about your scheduling, and I know that's going to be difficult because you never know what baby's going to be like. You don't know what their sleeping and feeding pattern is. I think this is more about as you go on in your career, what's your time going to look like if I do want to go back to work and I do want to have a career and I do want to have children. One thing for me, I know it's really important for me that I look at the times I wake up, times I allocate to myself. So I have a bit of self-care with my family, and other times that I'm going to spend with my husband and other times we're going to spend together as a family. So think about your time allocation as well. I think Rebecca spoke beautifully on the previous episode when I interviewed her, probably more articulate than I am today. And I would encourage you to go back and listen to that. If you're thinking about having a career and having a family, Rebecca speaks some really good home truths. She talks about her own journey, which I think is fascinating. And I have a lot of respect for her. And in terms of having a career and having a family, and can women have it all? Yes, they can. Rebecca's helped me realize that I could not be doing this podcast, working full time and doing my life coaching if I hadn't had those discussions with Rebecca. So I would honestly go back and have a listen to that episode because I think it's fantastic. I've touched upon a few takeaways that I thought would be interesting for you to have a think about. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope it's been a bit helpful, or I hope it has been helpful to you. I know that throughout my life, I really wanted to have a career, but there were, as I said, times where I needed to work. And if we just do this background work first, I definitely think that we will be much calmer and the situations might not be as challenging as they could be to deal with if we do our prep work first. And if you are struggling with career and being a mum, write into us. I can put you in touch with Bex as well. As I said, she's my life coach. She's absolutely fantastic. The email address is TheRealStoriesPodcast@gmail.com. That's TheRealStoriesPodcast@gmail.com. If you have liked this episode and you want us to delve further into more information, more topics surrounding being a working mum, having a career, family, relationships, again, you can email us or just leave a comment underneath. You can leave us a review, let us know you like it, and also rate us. If you rate us, then we know that you're enjoying our episodes and you're enjoying this podcast. I wish you a fantastic week. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've taken away some really good insights that can help you navigate your own journey with being a mum and having a career. So until next time, have a fantastic week.